Guys, Oshiomole and many others have come out to cry on this issue of insecurity. Oshiomole said that the more they give ransom to these kidnappers, the more they have the lever to do so, because the government should do what, go and arrest them, but the government has not done anything like that. Just take a listen. Let me lot of views in the comment section.
Especially by the senatorial district of my brother, Senator Karimi. And like I said, this matter becomes very urgent because of the fear that if we don't take very urgent action on this, it will definitely spread to other southern senatorial districts. In fact, I was discussing with Senator Fadansi on the sideline yesterday, and he asserted that they have started seeing the sign of this issue in their own senatorial district too. So that's why I find it very necessary to bring it to the notice of Senate so that we can quickly do something about it. The local government in my senatorial district that is mostly affected is one of the biggest local governments in the country. And I have the feeling that with much urgency, something must be done, and it must be done very quickly. With my permission, sir, I will briefly go through the urgent need to address insecurity in Kwara South Senatorial District and beyond, and particularly in the federal local government area, call for immediate and comprehensive federal intervention. The Senate notes with grave concern the escalating insecurity in Kwara South Senatorial District, especially in the federal local government area, where bandits attacks, kidnappings, and killing have reached alarming levels in recent weeks, forcing thousands of residents to flee their communities. And I will want the Senate to take note that most of these people who are fleeing, straight away, they are going to Lagos to congest Lagos. And if you are not very careful, this thing will quickly snowball in Lagos State. Further notes that within the last month, no fewer than 12 foreign guards and local vigilante members were killed in an ambush by armed bandits in Okeode, including a traditional ruler, Bale of Ogba Ayo community, and several other traditional and community leaders were among those slain in separate incidents in Babanda, Sagbe, Uruago, Gamu Aleri, in Ifelodun local government, Isin local government, Ekiti local government, and Okeoro local government. Concerned that at least 142 persons have been kidnapped and over 70 killed in the last 12 months across Kwara South, with no fewer than 25 communities deserted due to recurring attacks, leading to severe human displacement and disruption of social and economic life. Farms have been abandoned, roads have become unsafe, local economies are completely paralyzed, and schools have closed, thereby worsening poverty and increasing youth vulnerability to crime. Aware that these attacks are largely perpetrated by foreign armed elements in collaboration with local informants operating from forest adults along Kwara, Kogi State, and Ekiti State boundary axis. While the federal government and security agencies have made some interventions, including sporadic patrols and raids, the responses remain episodic, inadequate, and reactive, leaving vast of ungoverned spaces under the control of the criminal gangs. Disturbed that local security volunteers and vigilantes who serve as first responders in most cases lack adequate equipment, mobility, protection, or insurance, yet continue to sacrifice their lives in defense of their communities. Recognizes that sustaining security in Kwara South, if not urgently addressed, may spread to other parts of North Central states and Southwest political zones, thereby threatening national stability. The Senate therefore resolved to urge the federal government to establish a permanent military base in Kwara South Senatorial District near the forest belt of fellow local government as rapid response up, and mandate the Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police to deploy additional troops and special units to clear the forest and return normalcy in the affected communities. Call on NEMA to immediately provide humanitarian relief to displaced persons in the Ifeolufun and other affected local government area, and urge the federal government to compensate families of fallen forest guards and vigilantes who died defending their communities. Direct relevant security agencies to identify and prosecute local collaborators aiding bandits' operation in Kwara South and beyond. Mandate the Senate Committee on Defense, Police Affairs, and National Security and Intelligence to undertake on-the-spot assessment of affected areas and report back within 2 weeks. And mandate the Senate to invite the Minister of Defense, Chief of Army Staff, and Inspector General of Police to brief the Senate in plenary on the coordinated federal response to insecurity in Kwara South. Lastly, sir, observe 1 minute of silence in honor of forest guards, vigilantes, traditional leaders, and innocent citizens who lost their life to bandit attacks in Kwara South Senatorial District and Kogi State.
We even get the consent of the Senate in line with Order 41. But nevertheless, we have moved the motion, so let me get somebody to second the motion. The Senator Karimi had a similar motion, so let him second the motion.
Karimi Sunday Steve. I represent the people of Kogi West. Mr. President, my colleagues, I want to thank the leader, the deputy leader for bringing this motion. The axis bordering Kwara South Senatorial District, Kogi West, and Niger State has become the axis of evil for these criminal elements. Mr. President, in the last 6 months, our people have been under attacks every day. Kidnapping, killing, and looting. In fact, a part of my senatorial district, every part of my senatorial district, all local governments in my senatorial district have been attacked by these people. And they even took over some communities. In fact, one of the commissioners that traveled with my governor to the affected area called me yesterday and said, you know they have taken over these communities. They did not only take over. Our people fled from those communities, and they broke down their homes and took over their homes. That is the situation we find ourselves. Mr. President, one of those guys that was kidnapped and was with the bandit for months, when he was released, he made a statement. It's all over the social media. That one of the leaders of the bandits said, your senator, he built barrack for soldiers to attack us. Yes, I built barracks, which I financed privately. It cost me a lot of money, just to ensure security of that environment. They said, go and tell him, with his barrack and his soldiers, we are waiting and looking for them. That we have generals in the field here. Mr. President, we've got to do something about it. Yes, the federal government is trying. They are planning to set up the forest guard. It's a noble move. But we need to do something urgently. Some people are benefiting from this criminality. They may also be planning because they know that they are losing the election already. You know, during 2023 election, some people plan and already brought criminal elements to Nigeria in anticipation that they are going to lose election and that Jonathan will not. No, that was 2015. That Jonathan will not, 2019 I mean to say, will not leave government. But we thank God he left voluntarily. That was 2015. Yeah. Those same people, Mr. President, they are aware that Nigerians, they are now realizing that the good work that President Tinubu is doing, and that their plan to stop him, they are not going to succeed. I guess they are resorting into violence. They are resorting into causing mayhem. And we got to move fast and stop them because they are definitely going to lose the election. And we will not allow them to bring this country down because of their selfish ambition. Our people are suffering. And we got to do something promptly. Thank you, sir.
Voice today. I'd like to, with your permission, commend the mover of this motion for the facts he has stated with regards to what is happening in Kwara State. Like we said earlier, Mr. President, they say injury to one is injury to all. Anything happening to any part of this country affects the whole. But listening to Senator Karimi, it is true that these violent criminals are advancing towards the south. They're doing a lot of damage, as he rightly said, in Kogi State. But they have crossed Kogi to Edo North. And when the mover of this motion talk about the need to establish a military barrack, I was just going to remind him that in Edo North, in Agenebote, we have a military barrack that has been there for more than 15 years. Well equipped. They even deploy people from that barrack to the northeast. And yet, within that local government, we have experienced series of killings, including targeting students in a minor seminary, many of whom have been kidnapped. They are Catholic priests, as well as some of the students. I think it bears reminding the Chief of Army Staff that he has to refocus and give firm instructions to military units at least to guarantee their area of operation. But I have difficulties with the last part of my Karime statement about the political aspect. I think we have to be careful not to politicize what obviously is a criminality across the country. My plea, sir, Mr. President, in line with what we've done before, is to keep on reminding our armed forces that the battle is on and they must be seen to consolidate on the gains that have already been achieved. I am very sympathetic to the fact that many young officers and not so young have been wasted in their quest to defend us. While I acknowledge this laudable effort and the progress that have been made, I think it's important that we remind the armed forces that each day a Nigerian is kidnapped, particularly near a military facility. Our people feel discouraged. In Okwela, where we have 2 giant cement factories, 6 civil defense officers were felled by kidnappers, 6 of them in one fell swoop because they were protecting the expatriates working in that factory, and they managed to escape with 1 or 2 of those expatriates. But the men in uniform, civil defense, paid with their life, 6 of them. And that is why I have difficulties in no one can downplay that men in uniform and women in uniform are fighting hard to protect us. We just need to urge them to refocus, to re-strategize, and to recognize that if we are making gain in any war part and the criminals are migrating to another part, that is not a total gain. There has to be a strategy. I am limited by the fact that I can't lay claim to any knowledge of security. If you are pouring water from one side, it will be moving to the other side. So we need to cage them. There has to be a concerted effort to cage from the south, so they don't migrate to the south, as well as keep pushing them from the north so that you cage them at the center and find a ways and means of wasting them. Otherwise, my fear is that each time something happens near an army installation, people say, if this can happen near a military barrack, what about those of us who don't even have military installation? But I want to acknowledge what the armed forces are doing. I want to acknowledge the progress that have been made, but they need to be reminded that they need to work harder. And that is why I was a bit worried last week when a former chief of defense staff published a book called The Stars. I wasn't quite sure what to make out of his interview the following day, when he seeks, in my view, to almost suggest that it's a political something. I think the armed forces have a duty to stick to their mandate, focus on the job at hand, and ensure that they do not allow distractions. I don't think this thing is just political. I think there are people who are determined to make money. They found kidnapping as rewarding. They find, yes, you kidnap somebody, you pay, regardless of what the government might say. Individual family people are unable to resist paying a ransom, and every ransom you pay is an incentive for more people, for the people to go back and kidnap again. But I want to salute the armed forces and urge them through your leadership, sir, that there is still much more to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we shouldn't bring in politics. This is one issue that threatens the very fabric of our existence. One salutes the very bold efforts of our armed forces. But then we must appreciate the fact that security is everybody's concern, and that we cannot make any meaningful progress if we remain in the straits as we are. So on behalf of Kwara South, I want to align that the migrant in Kwara is toothache in Akwa Ibom. No part of this country is safe when another part is in trouble. So there's a clear need for us to look at this issue from a very broad perspective and approach the concern with every seriousness that this deserves. Once again, I'm worried that with the wonders of technology, we are still facing this crisis. Because this clearly is a setback to us. But I believe that if we approach this issue as a collective, and then we strengthen our grassroots, I said earlier on this floor that once we strengthen our government system, we have had a pathway to fighting insecurity. Our grassroots, where these criminals come from. So every effort must be done to strengthen the machinery of government at the grassroots, and then we, as a people, must see these measles, because this has become a measles, spreading very fast, and no part of this country is spared the agony of these measles. So as a Senate, we have to work as a team, put aside politics, and address the major concern that this issue confronts us as a country. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator.
Thank you very much, the mover, for this motion. Your Excellency, I will not say much, but you remember when we confirmed the service chiefs, we vehemently agreed that we should set KPI for them and they should be reporting. Unfortunately, those KPIs were not set and no report is coming. Simply because you send us in the mass media that you killed 10 terrorists or 100 terrorists, it's not a report. You have to liberate areas so that we can see. Last time I reported in this Senate that progress has been achieved, and we were very grateful to the President and the armed forces. But unfortunately, Your Excellency, this progress is being marred. There is a renewed resurgence. Just in the last 2 months, Your Excellency, we know where the terrorists are gathering. It's in the public domain. Ordinary Nigerians need to see action. But today they will tell us they are here, tomorrow they are here. Everybody knows within our area. But we will not see any action taking place. That is to say, sir, we need this Senate to tell the armed forces to be reporting progress every week so that state by state, otherwise it will be a mess of all issues and we will not be seeing progress. Sir, I beg you that time is ripe now, that this problem is solvable. We have seen progress. We should not allow this progress to be derailed. We should pursue this remnant of these people so that our next election can be peaceful and sustainable. And we have something to say to our people, sir. This is the only thing I want to take. If I get protected in my environment, please keep your roads, keep your schools. We just want to be safe. And that is the message we are sending to the Senate President. Please, save our life and our people. We are not bothered about roads now or schools. Please, save our lives. Our people's lives are in danger. Thank you very much, sir.
Senator.
Representing Kwara Central. I want to lend my voice to this urgent debate on the floor today, ably moved by Senator Lola Ashiru, who happens to be my colleague, my brother from the same state. I represent Kwara Central, he represents Kwara South. Sir, if anything happens in Kwara South or Kwara North, it's as good as happening in Kwara Central, because we are from the same state and our people are interwoven. There is no gainsay here to say maybe it's affecting Kwara South, so it doesn't bother me. No. We are interwoven in so many aspects. And that is how it also extends to the other parts of the country. We've had series of complaints, debate, concerns over insecurity in this country. I think, sir, it is time we stop all the rhetorics and all hands must be on deck. Be you in government, be you outside government, the security of lives and properties in one way or the other will definitely affect you. So we must not play politics with it. All we should do now is to try and see how solutions can be profiled, especially also putting the nation, our leaders in prayers, because any bad decision taken by leaders in government will definitely affect all of us. So it's not time to blame anybody. For me, banditry, kidnapping, we must categorize them as criminal activities. There is no religion, there is no tribe, there is no ethnicity that abhors this. Anybody caught should be dealt with as a criminal. If we approach it from that angle, without sentiment, without emotion, I think we will go a long way in resolving these issues. The security agencies are doing their best. We must applaud them. The president is doing his best. Those of us here too are doing our best in trying to oversight and make sure the voice of our people are heard. So we should please put all hands on deck and address this thing as criminal activities. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Senator Sadiq Umar.
I am Sadiq Suleiman Umar. I represent Kwara North. Mr. President, let me first thank our colleague, Senator Lala Ashiru, for bringing this to the Senate attention once again. Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, we've gone around this repeatedly. And for information, Kwara, we benefited from very good peace for a long time until the bandits and kidnappers started seeping in from the borders, and they started from my area, actually, the Kwara North. Alhamdulillah, the government of Kwara State, the federal government, there has been good collaboration and effort, and that side is being, brought under control. Now, they have moved to Kwara South again. And my sympathy to our people in Kwara South, because there has been a lot of suffering in that senatorial district as well. But the state government and the federal government are collaborating with the military structures as well as local vigilantes to see that this is brought to an end finally. However, Mr. President, while we represent our people and bring up what happens to them, the key tool we have as a legislature constitutionally is our investigative powers and our oversight function. And I think we need to bite harder. Our security committees, they need to be grilled better. They need to give us updates more regularly. Let's understand what are the gaps, what do they need from us. As far as I'm concerned, as a National Assembly, we've been supporting these institutions. And of course, we hear various conspiracy theories that there are some people benefiting from this. Why shouldn't we know who these people are? These are the things we should pay attention to, Mr. President, and so that we can bring this to an end finally. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Allowed so many to contribute is I know at least 9 senators who brought motions connected with insecurity today. So I'm using this motion as a point of contact to answer all the other ones that we cannot accommodate today. So this will be the last motion, and we'll just move on to other things. That was why I said everybody should talk. It's still going to be the same thing. So let's quickly just run into the prayers. And thereafter, remember that some committees are meeting with their Ghanaian counterpart in the office of the Deputy Senate President. And then the Russian ambassador will be around by 3 o'clock. So we met, and today was also partly ceremonial as a result of the swearing in of our colleagues who are yearning for us to join them in their receptions. And we have to also allow them to go and receive their constituents who came to celebrate with them. So we may have to rush and postpone some of the things we would have done today and move them forward to tomorrow. So let's go into the prayers. Senator Ashiru. Prayer 1, urge the federal government to establish a permanent military base in Kwara South Senatorial District near the forest belts of Ifelodun as a rapid response hub, and mandate the Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police, to deploy additional troops and special units to clear the forests and restore normalcy in the affected communities. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, call on a National Emergency Management Agency to immediately provide humanitarian relief to displaced persons. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, direct relevant security agencies to identify and prosecute local collaborators aiding bandits operations in Kwara South and other affected areas in the country. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4, mandate the Senate Committees on Defense, Police Affairs, and National Security and Intelligence to undertake an on-the-spot assessment of some affected areas and report back within 2 weeks, and mandate the Senate to invite the Minister of Defense, Chief of Army Staff, and Inspector General of Police to brief the Senate in plenary on the coordinated federal response to insecurity in Kwara and other areas so affected. Those in support of prayer 4 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 5, observe 1 minute silence in honor of the forest guards and vigilantes, traditional leaders, and innocent citizens who lost their lives to bandits' attacks in Kwara South Senatorial District and other affected areas in the country. Those in support of prayer 5 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Because the level at which kidnapping happens in Nigeria is alarming, where Nigerians are no longer safe in their own country. You can't travel to another state without being scared, especially going to the north. Even in the east, I heard that the level of security there is increasing. And what is the government doing about it? What have they said about it? Have they come out to actually address the issue? The answer is no. I don't know why they've not come out to address the issue, because it was so shameful that our government went ahead to have a peace talk with the real bandits. I mean, bandits came with their weapons, and our government had a peace talk with them. I don't know if our government are begging bandits not to attack anymore, or they are planning to take actions to stop the level of insecurity in Nigeria, because it's alarming. I don't know what else this government wants us to do, because right now the lives of Nigerians are no longer safe. Nobody is safe in Nigeria anymore. The level of kidnapping, the level of buying, the level at which bandits are occupying the roads, occupying farmers' land is alarming. But let me get your views in the comment as well this video. Let me get your views about the video watch now. I'll see you guys in my next video.